Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia, and this is the SITREP or summary for the day of 15 to 17 for the 21st to 23rd of October for the Israeli-Hamas war. And on breaking news, the Israelis may have started their ground offensive. Maybe. So latest, there is some rumors or information coming out from the east of Meghazi. So this is Meghazi, and there is information that the Israeli forces seems to engage in some firefight on the east of Meghazi. Maybe they are trying to enter, and there is also fighting in the middle of between Meghazi and Kisufim, is in this area here, and this is actually very interesting because this is not what people expect the offensive might be coming. They expect the Israeli forces to enter from the north because that's where they tell the civilians to withdraw, all the way to this area here. This is where the civilians are supposed to withdraw to, and we would have expected the Israeli forces to attack in this way. However, this is not the case. So Kisufim is actually here. This is Kisufim, and along this border region around Kisufim and Meghazi, this is Meghazi, Kisufim, the Israeli forces are pushing in this way. Information's coming from Middle East Spectator on Telegram, the channel. So they mentioned that the IDF have engaged in gunfight with the Hamas on the east of Meghazi camp, and then in further information, the gunfire is now across the separation fence near Kisufim and Meghazi. Heavy artillery shelling was also reportedly heard, which means the Israelis are also shelling Hamas positions in this area here. It's unclear if this actually is a ground offensive. This might be because this is actually very unusual for the Israelis to to make a attempt to go into engagement in this area here. But this could also be something to do with earlier events where where is this one? It's a bit hard to click on Google Earth. Come on, click it. Yeah, this one. So on the so there is this report coming from the IDF, and this is also reported by the Hamas as well. The IDF reported that there was some fighting in this area here near Kisufim, and in the much later report from the IDF, they say that a soldier was killed and 3 other soldiers were injured, and this is a result of an anti-tank missile launched at the tank and the engineering vehicles. So this actually is very interesting. So the IDF has been moving along the border all this while, and they are trying to secure and maybe do some engineering work. I'm not sure what it is, maybe clearing for mines, or they're actually rebuilding the fence after the Hamas forces probably have burst through previously, and they have damaged some of the fences. So and these operations are often very hazardous because the Hamas forces can appear at any place, and they can fire upon the Israeli forces along the border. And maybe this is the result. This is actually the cause of this attack by the Israeli from this direction. I'm not so sure, but this could be it. And this actually comes south of this river. That there is this river here. Yeah, this river. I'm not sure. Can you see this river? So let me show you the river. So this river is where the Israeli asked the civilians to withdraw from. They are supposed to withdraw from north of this river down south, and supposedly the southern part should be safer. Of course, it's not safe because Israeli airstrikes still happens literally everywhere, especially in this area of Bujet. And the only safe place is this humanitarian zone, this international humanitarian zone designated by the Israeli themselves. There is a port here also, so international aid might be eventually allowed into this area here. But then this is the only place that the Israeli seems to will not do an airstrike on. And so this is the major thing that is currently happening over in this Israel-Gaza situation. There is also some fighting reported on the east of Khan Yunis. This is a guided missile attack, and then there was some attack on the Israeli armored vehicle. And I think this might be the same one reported about at Kisufim, or this could be a separate one. So another attack in this direction. So yeah, this entire middle part is getting more and more tense. This border region here is getting more and more tense, and he got a feeling that this attack here with heavy artillery might be a ground offensive that is actually aiming to attack into the rear of the Hamas forces, because the Hamas might be gathering heavily over in Gaza City. They might be expecting the attack to come from this direction, but by entering from this area here, they can actually cut the retreat and create a. So let me redraw. So they can go along the river here and then create a totally demilitarized zone or no secured or buffer zone in this area here. Of course, it's going to be costly if they're going to do that, but this will force the whatever forces that is in the Gaza city itself trapped in this area here. So the Israeli will be able to do this, and then they can actually squeeze them in all direction and eliminate a huge amount of this Hamas forces, or the Al-Qassam brigade within this Gaza city area. This could be the strategy, but it's unclear if this is an outright offensive just yet. Clearly, and if the Israeli are not moving fast enough, then they are going to draw Hamas forces from all directions into this area here, and then it will make the breakthrough nearly impossible. So let's see how this goes. But this breaking news is like literally just happened not too long ago. So otherwise, the other major information was this hyping of the airstrike at Aleppo. The Israeli attacked Aleppo again as in Damascus airport. These two airports, I just want to highlight for people who do not know, this is actually nothing very, very special. The Israelis has non-stop airstriking Syria for the past few years. Non-stop. They are flying in and out freely. These airports has been hit multiple times. I even have reported this previously, but because nobody cares, so I stopped reporting it. And so when I saw on Twitter, some of these people suddenly realized that oh, Syria actually is a thing. Suddenly like, oh, it's a thing. And then they make it sound like as if this airstrikes is so special from Israel. It's not. It has been an ongoing thing all the while you are sleeping and eating and watching Ukraine, and listening me talking rubbish about Ukraine war, drawing pictures on the map. Israel has constantly striking targets within Syria all the time. The planes are flying in and out of Syria like nobody's business. Russia is not engaging them. Syrian air defense are not effective against all these Israeli jets because they are too experienced with dealing with air defense. So they are striking targets at will, and the targets are actually not exactly the Syrian government forces, and definitely they are not hitting Russian assets. They are there to hit Israeli assets, and particularly probably Hezbollah related or some other terrorist groups or armed group that is backed by Iran. So these airstrikes are the same thing. The aim is actually to deny the Iranians from able to land forces or land equipments or reinforcement or resupply ammo, drones, whatever into these two regions. And the shocking thing is this rumor that come out from another source. So at the Russian airbase at I don't know how to pronounce this, Kimi, and Mimi. Okay, so this Mimi airbase. So this is a Russian airbase. That is listed or given to the Russians to operate. So along with multiple bases. So Russia have multiple bases within Syria, which helps the Syrian government to deal with ISIS and also to prevent the Turkish-backed rebel forces or American-backed rebel forces from taking advantage of the Syrian government. So they are the peacekeeper in a sense. And there is this rumor coming out from Middle East Spectator that now these Iranian cargo planes are now operating in the Mimi airbase. So this Mimi airbase, I wrote as reportedly landed. So the actual word that they use is after the Aleppo Damascus airport is put out of service, the Iranian and IRGC affiliated cargo planes started using the airbase for the first time. So how do you use? You land. So this is why I wrote landed. So if this is the case, then it's going to make things extremely complicated, because the Israeli will not strike Russian airbase, because Russia is the only power the Israeli is a bit careful of, tentatively, I would say, and of course Turkey. I think they will not dare to touch Turkey as well. So this is going to complicate the situation for Israel, because how do you going to deny the landing of Iranian ammunition, weaponry, drones, and whatnot if you cannot strike the airbase? So this is going to be very complicated, because the other side, the other entrance into Syria is actually blocked by Americans. The Americans have basically full control over this entire border of Syria. There is actually no way for any militant groups to actually enter easily without the Americans' support. If the Americans don't allow you in, you can't actually go in. So this is the strategic situation. In a separate video, which I will also record right after this, is, you can see all these black icons, is the Americans under attack in the area of Iraq and Syria. Because I don't want to mix these two reports. So the members, the people who support me financially on Patreon, Coffee, YouTube membership, locals, anyone that pays money on a monthly basis will get this report first. And then because I cannot post two reports at the same time, because YouTube don't encourage such thing, and they will cause cannibalism between the two videos, and the videos will not reach more people than intended. So I will post it later for those that wanted to watch this early. You know, all these exclusive videos or early access, do consider supporting DPA financially. And so ignoring the Americans under attack, that will be a separate video. So this is going to create a very difficult situation for the Israeli, especially landing anything here would also be able to enter Lebanon easily, so which then will feed the Hezbollah. So yeah, so talking about Hezbollah, the Hezbollah continue to attack Israeli positions along the border. There is shelling or missile attacks in the area of Megaliot, over at Ifta. There is at this area called Hadov, and then there is another one. This is I can't see the word, Hanita, over at Hanita. So this is Hadov, and then there's another one over here. This is Baram. So there's some random. There's one particularly more interesting or special report, is this one over at Misgav Am. The one at Misgav Am is a bit different, because this is not shelling. Come on, man, click. Okay, so it's not shelling. This is actually a gunfire. So the Israelis reported that the gunmen or rebel soldiers or whatever fired at the IDF post. So this is not I believe this is not artillery. These are guns. And of course the Israelis will always react in overwhelming force. Airstrikes continue to be reported over the past 3 days, as per reported by IDF. Every single anti-tank missile or mortar attack is responded with airstrikes or artillery strikes. So this is a situation with the Hezbollah. Hezbollah tentatively still does not look like they will enter war yet. All these are just harassment. I believe their strategy is going to be very Syrian. Syrian as in Syrian of the previous Israeli wars, where they will wait for Israel to reportedly got weaker. Then when victory is in sight, then they will enter war. I believe that's the case, because I don't think Hezbollah will want to destroy themselves. And Israelis did also warn Hezbollah that this is not going to be like the second Lebanese-Israeli war. It's going to be different. So let's see how this goes. The airstrikes, of course, also continues to be hitting Gaza, as per reported by the Israeli themselves. They on one of the report by the Israeli, they say that they struck 320 military targets within 24 hours. So there's 320 bombs or whatever, which is a tremendous amount of bombs to be hitting Gaza Strip. But like I mentioned previously, Gaza Strip is not that small. It's the size, almost the size of Singapore. And living in Singapore, I know it's not actually not that small. Yeah, but it's still, it's still very a lot of bombs to be hitting there. So and I also will not be mapping all the individual airstrikes, like general location or which location within Gaza Strip, because I don't think you guys care, and similarly I don't think you guys also care where the rocket strikes were reported. Ultimately, I will just go through a bit. There's shelling reported at Beersheba. Okay, let me use another color. Beersheba. There's also airstrikes, shelling reported at this airbase here, the Hatzerim airbase. This is attacked on two separate days already, 22nd, 23rd. The past 2 days, it had been hit by rocket strikes, and there is also further strikes nearer to the front line, over at Nirim, over at Raim, over at I think this is Berry. I think this is Berry, and yeah, this is east of Beeri, east of Beeri. I believe on the east, this is Beeri. I think on the eastern part of Beeri here, there is there's a gathering of Israeli forces, which is why the eastern part of Beeri has consistently become a target for the Hamas forces. And there is also at Netivot, at Sderot, and as usual at Mevkim, at Ashkelon, as well as Ashdod, of course. And as the usual, they hit Tel Aviv. So that is nothing special. And also at Bet Shemesh. Bet Shemesh is actually over here, just off West Bank. So so this is I hope I didn't disorientate you. Within the West Bank itself, the most boring one, I believe most people don't really give a freaking care about West Bank, but this is some of the more significant things that happen. As usual, you can see the amount of icons on the West Bank. These are all the previous reports. You can see a lot of things are happening all over the place. And in the past 3 days, the significant one is the raiding of Askar at Nablus. So there is some raids reported here on the 22nd. I think some death, 1 or 2 or there, over here and there. The fighting over at Nel Sham. So a lot of people don't really care about this battle. There is still fighting reported all the way on the 21st as well. But then there's no more attacks on the 22nd, 23rd. So the battle of Nel Sham has ended. So I'm not sure who considered the winner over here. And there is shooting reported over at Kalkilia. So Kalkilia. So there's some shooting reported. There's some shooting around here. And the main part of the Israeli operation is over at Jenin. So Jenin is particularly interesting because there is a heavy concentration of Israeli forces, according to Al Jazeera. So all the outskirts and entrance of Jenin has been occupied by Israeli forces, and then they proceeded to attack. The attack is quite heavy because airstrike was actually reported. According to the IDF, they say that the Israeli Defense Forces, they reported an airstrike on an underground compound in the El Ansar Mosque in Jenin. So they say that this mosque contain terror groups of the Islamic Jihad and Hamas operative, and they are preparing for some terror attack. So they launch a massive attack, and then they have huge gathering of forces around Jenin. So maybe some intelligence acquired some information that they are going to plan some operations from Jenin. So yeah, this is the major one because it attracted an airstrike, so that's a bit unusual. So otherwise, we have some fighting reported at Tamun, at Tubas. So yeah, I don't think you cared about the details. I know you guys don't care. Yeah, because I almost don't care as well. So but I feel like, you know, I almost don't want to report this in such details into the don't even want to map it, but I realized no, I think I should, you know, because ultimately I'm not sure where you're going to get all this information in the map format, so I just do it. But in terms of the shelling in Gaza, the shelling is just too heavy to be mapped at all. So or if you map it, it doesn't mean anything to anyone because it's just too heavy. So basically, I will just continue to report like this IDF airstrikes, and I would be deleting all these icons to leave it blank so that we can actually track any ground offensive if it happens. And again, as usual, if you are interested to look at this mapping, this map is available to the public. It used to be under the paywall. I have put it out to public. You can actually check it out in the description below. The link is below. And also do share this video to people that cares about the truth and don't want to be duped by propaganda and misinformation. I know a lot of you guys are emotional about this particular issue. This seems to hit home very closely, but purely because of religion or yeah, by religion. And I can tell you, please don't. No, when the Muslim fight the Muslim, nobody cares. When the Christian fight the Christian, nobody cares. So so don't make it a religious thing. It's not a Judaism versus Islam. It's not this kind of thing. Nobody cares if this was just Saudi Arabia versus Yemen. And similarly, nobody bothers to ask me about what happened to Sudan. Sudan civil war is happening. They are all Muslims. Nobody cares. So don't be hypocrite here. Okay. So whatever it is, we be objective. We look at the general picture. We look at the macro situation. The micro details is too micro to make a difference. For example, you can tell me, oh, there was this Israeli asking the hospital to evacuate in 24 hours. We clearly know that's not possible. There's actually an incident I forgot to report. IDF actually accidentally hit or maybe intentionally hit, we do not know, Egyptian military post near Kerem Shalom. So Kerem Shalom is over here, and this is the checkpoint, and I think they kind of accidentally strike something on the left side, and maybe is one of this stuff here. How they accidentally shoot it, I have no freaking idea. So whatever it is, at least one soldier was killed, and up to 9 was injured, something like this. One of them very seriously or something like this, from memory. And then you started to see on the Telegram, on Twitter, and all the people who are very excited to demonize Israel, to saying that wow, Israel attacked 4 different countries at once. They attack Palestine, they attack Syria, they attack Lebanon, they attack Egypt. Trying to fan up emotions and rage. Don't get duped. I have to emphasize this. Don't get emotionally affected by this kind of things. All these wars has been going on for God know how long. Even the conflicts between Christian and Islam or Muslims, all these crusades and bullshit, what not. This war happens all the time. It doesn't matter what religion, it doesn't matter what kind of reasoning, how many civilians are killed. It makes no difference. So don't get affected. Be objective. Unless you are Palestinian, unless you are Israeli, don't get affected by it. Yeah, and if you're Egyptian, maybe you have some reasons because your soldiers got killed. You can be angry about that, but don't get manipulated. The whole point is that everyone is trying to manipulate the public. The Israeli are, the Hamas are, the Iranians are. Everyone is trying to manipulate you. Don't get manipulated. So look at the big picture. Know the strategic situation. Don't get duped by all the reports. People die. I know people die. I saw a lot of dead children. So no one is going to go to war with Israel over these children. So no, everything is just bullshit. So, and if they do go to war, even more people will die. So think carefully what you really want and what you wish for. And yeah. So anyway, I will go on to go and record the Americans under attack video, and you can actually watch it much later, or you can actually watch it earlier by becoming a DPA sergeant or DPA officer. And I'll see you in the next update.